welcome. I picked up the Grayman Satu. I haven't had a chance to use it too much, so I won't be able to provide a lot of feedback on it. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a short little macro, some initial impressions, and also I'll take it apart also and show the inside, kind of get my initial impressions off of the construction. Another knife also picked up from Plaza yesterday, two Yojimbo 2s. And now the other one's brand new and never been touched. This one, of course, I'll start using, kind of seeing what it's about. Have a 2 as cross reference to compare. People who think, people also say like, oh, well, is that the only one you have? Have you ever held any other ones? How you know that your claims are correct? I usually pick up 2, and one usually if I usually to test, and the other one if of course everything goes fine with this one and I don't need to use the other one. Like if this one, for example, broke or something, I would have the other one. But if not, usually the other one gets sold. So if you guys are interested, like I said, we'll see what happens. Either there'll be another Yojimbo 2 then for sale after I'm done reviewing that knife. The Grayman Satu. First off, initial impressions is it does some really great fit and finish. I've seen a couple, and they all are like just done very well. You look at the blade. Very nice. It's very nice. Look at the overall. This whole thing has a rounded off. Has a bevel that's also rounded, so it just feels really nice. You can see it. It looks nice. It looks comfortable, and it is comfortable. Great, considering how difficult bevel work is. That is really great. I mean, you can see the clip is custom. The jimping is very hard cut, so it really works. Really bites in. I like to call this big knife jimping, where it's serious. Got a lot of space in between each one. You can see here, that's nice and done. It's kind of nice. The thumb studs are a press fit in, it looks like, but then right after he blasts them, so they kind of look like it blends into one piece. And let's see. And we can see here, look, the high polished. I think those are females or stop pins. Females are back here. Nice and clean looking. I mean, look at it's just really nice. It's very nice. Everything is lined up. It's very good quality fit and finish. That's the first thing I noticed. Of course, like this is a comparison to a Strider GB in many ways. Size comparison. Here's to an SMF. Much bigger, but not really. It's a common knife that everyone has. Paramilitary 2. The difference is, though, it's the fit and finish. Definitely, that's the first thing you'll notice. Is first, construction-wise, has a liner, titanium liner, so it's built more like a hinder, more rigid. Even though the G10 is always rigid on Striders, Grayman went ahead and add a titanium liner. Beyond the fit and finish, then is, like, for example, even the lockup. The lockup is smooth, no grittiness, no getting stuck in the beginning. It's just really nice and smooth, and you can see how it contacts the blade tang. Since it's all bead blasted, you can see where it's just been initially wearing out. So of course it is that corner idea, and it is radiused. Bevel is radius kinda, so it's a Q from Strider. But it could be a radius at a larger, wider curve. So it's hard to say because right now it doesn't stick. The detent is good, but you can. So that's pretty crazy. Once it's open, it's very comfortable. The jimping definitely, I guess you would say, like if Yannick didn't want Yannick, or I can't pronounce his name, didn't want to have a hot spot right there. Overall, not a big deal, especially if you're wearing gloves. It's functional there. The ergos are very nice. Let's see. Perhaps these corners, I would say this, depending on your hand size. Like if you have like smaller hand size than well, here for reference. Okay, if your hand size is smaller than this, I would say you're pushing your luck with the Satu. It starts to get pretty, I would say it starts to get not very functional for someone with a smaller hand size than that. because it is a big knife. For me, it's comfortable. I like it. You can do this. This initial edge right here is not sharpened, this corner, so, and that's always kind of like the fear, especially with hinders. You don't want to go near that point. You can see it's not sharpened. A hinder here, you got, you know, this, but then if you go up here, you worry because right there is the actual cutting edge. On that one, on the Grayman, it's not like that. There isn't an edge right there, so you can, so it's a little bit more safer. You can go like this. And you can see that the blade grind is nice. It's a starts to get a little bit more, I guess wider up here then, because it's getting more narrow on the main primary bevel. This side, they look about the same. Very difficult grind, I would say, to do. About the same. Now the one main, I guess, people will talk about Grayman is, it's a toothy edge that, you know, they leave on here because it's, you know, for whatever various reasons they feel is more better. Now this is just my statement, and I know Grayman you're watching, so hopefully, you know, you can take it as lighthearted as I can take it, okay? I just think it was just, you know, less time to how you say, invest in that this is like for me, it's like, how nicely put it, I don't personally care at all that comes like this, because for the price you pay for this knife, and you look at the size and the overall fit and finish, I mean, there's no scratches on it. It is very nice, very well put together, very clean, very smooth, very refined. I'll take a cheaper price if it means that you guys didn't spend a long time making a good edge, because the edge is not sharp. It's not sharp. I mean, it's something. It's something else. It's yeah, I don't know what you call this, honestly, but I call this, you know, no problem. You know, thanks for not, you know, charging me an extra, you know, $20 or something, $15 to make it sharper. I'll take the crazy looking weird, but I'll take the rest of the craftsmanship and the value I'm getting. So I would take it as that. This is a very good deal on these knives. It's a very good price for the craftsmanship. So for that not to be I say standard among knife, you know, I guess purchases or ownership, you know, that's fine. It's wild looking. The tension's pretty good. It's got a pretty long lock bar, so they're gonna have to look into that. The cutout is on the correct side, so that's good for that type of use. It's very straight in line. Pot clip is very strong, but it goes nicely over the pants. And also, when you pull it out, there's a nice big portion to grab and get. You know, no big deal. And overall, smooth. It's very smooth. Comes smooth right out of the how you say, the package. It's very nice. Oh, very nice touch here too. You can see that the blade tang is radiused right there where the stop pin, where it contacts the stop pin. You see that? So once that starts to break in, basically that whole entire portion will contact. So basically, there's more of the blade tang contacting the stop pin. So not only is it more secure, it'll wear and last better. So that's a very nice touch. One that you don't see often at all on knives. For example, especially production ones where when it hits the stop pin, it's just flat. You know. So you can understand, like, then it's just touching a thin line on that round stop pin. So very nice. Just very nice. That's a time-consuming step for sure. That's very nice. And I would say though, this knife, being that it's a hard-use folder, I do wish it had a choil. I do feel like that would improve the design if they were to manipulate the design a little bit more to where it had a safety choil, kind of like a Strider GB or AR. But you know, you take that for what it is. To me, then it just means that this knife, you know, I don't think this knife was meant for people who are new to knives, perhaps. It definitely doesn't, you know, it's the size of it, first of all, definitely leans more towards than someone who's used to having a knife on them, because they have to be familiar with a knife this size, which is, I mean, bigger than an SMF. And then also the fact that you have to kind of respect it, you know. I haven't tested yet, so I don't know how the lockup and all that good stuff will be, but I can say overall, I mean, if you grip it right and you have your hand holding that lock bar, it should be very sturdy, but you have to make sure it opens. I mean, you have to be careful with this one, I would say, because it doesn't have a safety choil. Now let's look at the inside. The first thing to note is this size right here works for these screws. They're all Torx, but this pivot is slightly larger, so it does catch, but I don't want to risk stripping, so we're gonna have to go up in size. Even without the pivot, that's amazing. That's amazing craftsmanship. Look, it's still centered with no pivot in place. Look, it's still, and that's just because of the overall rigidity. I mean, and of course the lining up of everything. Like I said, really great, like custom level quality craftsmanship. I mean, if I don't have a pivot in there and it's like that, there's no tension moving it. Three, obviously, I say display side screws. They all look like this. Very nice. Very large threads. Let's see. Strong. Okay. Definitely all good there. I'm gonna take this side off. Okay, so these are not press fitted. They will slide out, which is fine. Those are the females. But that's nice. They serve as pins, and now the whole thing is you can take apart. G10 scale. Nice. You know, I was gonna say one thing, that if they just concealed carried this, contoured into an oval shape, man, it feels so much nicer. But it's fine this way. Definitely titanium, very light. G10 backspacer, very nice. Like I said, they make, it's very good quality craftsmanship. You can see no errors even on the inside. No corners cut. It's very nice. Nice, huge, nice. Phosphor bronze washers, thick enough, look, very thick. Two of them, identical in size, so you know you don't have to worry about which one's which. Okay, here's the stop pin. Very interesting. Wow, this is a custom machine stop pin. Look at that. It's shouldered. That's done right. And then it's got a larger actual section that serves as the pin. Look at that, it's very nice. So the part that goes in to the titanium, like that, and the other part goes into the liner. I think that's doing more than they need to do. They could have just made a pin that was all the way across, that was just the same size, you know. But well, it would have to. We'd have to have not a hole always sticking through. But great idea. Very nice touch on that. Very nice. Now let's look at the blade. Of course, it's S30 on this one, CPM. The contact portion we saw, there's with that stop pin, so as those start to break in, that's very nice also. Overall blade. The drop points, kind of a deep drop, or a bigger drop, so they add the swedge to keep more material there to make a stronger tip. It's very nice. Overall, that tip is, well, here in comparison to a paramilitary tip, there's the contact portion. It is a small corner right now, so I cannot say how the lock performs just yet. I will test it, but you know, regardless of how it performs through the test, like I said, this one doesn't have a safety trill, so I would say this knife definitely is one you have to be more cautious with. So you can see that the pot clip screws don't tap all the way through, but they actually have it recessed in there for some reason, so it actually opens up as it reaches that point. But regardless, that is going through over like 3 millimeters or something of that TI, so those pot clip screws won't have a problem. And now here's the most amazing thing. I mean, look at this pivot. That is a female tube for sure. See? Okay, wow, now that is beautiful. That is why. It has a Sabenza style pivot. Wow, that is awesome. Do you guys see that? It's a female pin, of course, so it's female male, so it will need, well, it may not need Loctite. I mean, it will to some degree, but it won't, because it has this bushing, just like a Sabenza, that serves as a spacer. So you might be able to really crank down on it, so I can get that on camera, crank down on this entire thing, screw it all the way down, and still have that space there for the blade to spin freely. And look at that. I mean, wow, that is really nice touch. That is something. That is something that don't have to do. And you guys know the price of Sebenza, and you compare this, and wow, that is a great value. Wow, I did not expect that. That is awesome. Let's put back together. See here real fast though. This is how it looks. See what I'm talking about? How that radius lock tang, a blade tang will. You see how much it covers that stop pin? It's very nice touch. Okay, got reassembled, and I can say the hardware is all very strong. You can see here, pivot. Very nice quality hardware. No, none of that stripping nonsense right there. And you can see here, centered. You can see the blade, the shadow behind it on each side of the blade. Nice, very nice, smooth. So yeah, you may not need Loctite. Now it's still got that slight bit of movement. That slight, like not like a literal just falling apart everywhere, but we're talking like a. Well, if the lock bar engages more, then it doesn't move. It's rock solid. So like I said, maybe as it breaks in, since it is right now contacting on a very small corner, if you guys saw of it. I mean, the engagement itself is like, I don't know, 35%, 40% or something, like 35%, I don't know, whatever, but it is, you saw just a small corner. But the main thing is, here I am tightening this pivot down, and it's tight, it's on there tight, so I won't need Loctite, and that's very nice for, you know, we're talking survival outdoor use, and it's because of that pivot, that nice bushing, so very good job on that, especially how difficult that is to achieve, and then get that centering. I mean, wow. Like I said, initial impressions, great design, great overall build, construction design. You know, I mean, preference, you know, yeah, you can use it like this, feel totally fine like that, but I do wish there was a safety choil since it's a hard use folder, or at least definitely gives you that vibe of that. D10's good. Everything about it, though, and construction wise, is great. They took obviously a great feature from a Chris Reeve knife. I mean, we're talking, they went ahead and beefed up that stop pin, even though they didn't have to. You know, put some good hardware, some female tubes, you know, machined everything nice and perfect and clean. Things that they implemented here, you know, that, and all those aspects are, you don't find on cheap knives. And this being this size, titanium frame lock with a liner also, along with then, you know, like I said, S30V, this is, wow, this is one of the best values, definitely, and especially with the fit and finish. Man, very impressed.